Hello, friends. Welcome to the moon phase reading for the period of time leaving this full moon that we're just finishing up on November 5th, the full moon in Taurus, and for the time period moving forward up to and through the new moon in Scorpio on November 20th, 2025. So that's the time period that we are going to be looking at. And this is a reading for what I like to call the magical weather report. What do we need to know as far as practitioners in magic, affirmations, prayer, anything that involves working with spirit, working with those energies? And so that's the focus of this reading. It is a collective reading, a universal reading for all of us, just so we can kind of get an overview of what we need to be aware of as we look out over the next few weeks. Before I move any more forward on that, I just want to double check with you guys. And are you finding these moon phase readings to be helpful? Please let me know down in the comments. I'm trying to figure out if I need to keep doing them or not. If they are helpful for people, I will. If they seem to provide good information that you check on throughout those 2 weeks. And the other question is, would you like to see me perhaps integrate this main 2-week reading into the daily readings more and interweave them a little bit? I can do that. I do that already sometimes if I feel like that's appropriate for the cards that we get for the day. But I just want to check in on that. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this reading is helpful to you and if I should keep doing it or not. So yeah, that's just a little bit of a check-in. And if I should integrate it more or interweave it more into the daily readings, I'd be glad to do that. I just want to check in with everybody. All right. So let's get into this reading. So that full moon was something. That was a very powerful full moon. And now we are moving forward towards a new moon. So that full moon energy should be withdrawing a little bit. And we should be kind of getting in a planning stage about what seeds we want to plant, what things we want to look at to put into the ground and into action on the new moon so they can germinate. For the next full moon, which will be in early December, which will kick off Yule. A couple things to note that are important over this time period. We have a Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius from 11/9, November 9th, all the way through the end of the month to November 29th. So that's going to affect Thanksgiving. That's going to affect any travel plans. So be aware of that and be aware. We'll see how that plays out with this reading. The other big sort of astrological thing we need to look at is that Jupiter will go retrograde a few days later on November 11th. On 11/11, it will start retrograde in Cancer, and it will not come out of retrograde until March 10th, 2026. So we're looking at another Jupiter retrograde period, so be aware of that as well, and that's going to kick off during this period of time from the full moon to the new moon. So some shifting sand to be aware of. The Mercury retrograde is definitely an excellent time to review, to look very closely at things before we move forward on them, to review things that we might have begun and whether or not we think they should be continued or not. And so Mercury retrograde works really well for that. It works really well to clean out an old closet or to clean out things from your life, and look at things that are working and not working and get rid of the things that aren't working and that aren't communicating with your soul and spirit and who you are. Okay, enough of all that. Let's get to the reading. Pull a few cards here. I had a couple card decks out before this reading started, and I used the pendulum, and the Lightseer Tarot really wanted to come out tonight. So that's the plan. So we're going to shuffle this up. Like my daily readings, if you want to sort of pull a card for yourself, a single card that can be integrated into this to kind of be your personal connection to the larger collective reading, it seems to work really well for a lot of people. So feel free to do that. Highly recommend it. And leave it down in the comments. Let us know if you would like to share. Let me know what you got and how you think it might be playing out. Or we'll just see if it does play out, right? All right. What do we need to know for this period of time, from the full moon to the new moon, as far as magical weather, what we need to work on, what we need to be aware of as we begin to go through this period of time with plans of magical work, of progress and wisdom. All right, so the first card is in here. So I've set this up like this because if it's not in here, the pendulum will let me know. So this part is still part of it, but okay. Is there one underneath there? I think there might be. I don't know. We're about to find out. It's this one right here. Nope, that is a single. We'll put that there. The next card is right there. We're going to start with these two, and then we will look at possibly an archetypes card and another oracle card. So we'll get 3 to 5 cards before we're all done here. All right, for this period of time, the High Priestess. Wow, am I really glad to see her. I'm not going to lie. That's a breath of fresh air. And the Sun. Bum, bum, bum. Wow. So this is a period of time for a lot of big interactions with spirit, with communication with spirit, and abundance, and taking care of yourself and what makes you happy. It looks like this could be a very powerful time. I know the intro was a bit doom and gloom when I started talking about Mercury retrograde, but these cards remind us that we need to stay on the positive side of these retrograde cycles and use them for what they are intended to be used for, right? Which is to look at the opposites of those moments. And this period of time in general, we're going to see this sense of the sacred feminine, but the spiritual sacred feminine, the High Priestess that sits between the worlds, sits between the physical and the spiritual world. This is a chance for you to have some very in-depth conversations with your spirit team, with your higher self, and to connect very clearly and distinctly with these more positive energies to get information that you need moving forward. So I would recommend a lot of meditation. This is, I feel like she's dancing, or that she's just very exuberant and happy. And I feel like this is a chance to do some physical activity, to incorporate some meditational movement. And how can spirit interact and interplay with physical movement for us over the next 2 weeks? Yeah, this is a chance to really sit in your spiritual power at the gate between worlds, is what I just heard. This is sort of, so we have this inner illumination, right? This inner knowing, this inner intuition, this inner communication. And then we have this outer energy of the sun and abundance and joyfulness. And it's almost like this inner illumination leading to outer clarity. Like something that is maybe hidden, ready to be opened up and really shown and danced with and experienced, and to be joyful with. But yeah, there's a sense of this inner knowing and understanding coming forth and into the outer world with clarity. And so that's why I said I really want folks to take time. I want you to take time over this 2 weeks as we build towards this new moon to get in contact with that spiritual realm. However you choose to do it. It might be through yoga, it might be through meditation, it might be through channeling, it might be through dowsing, it might be a whole manner of different ways, maybe through tarot cards. But spend some time in some meditation and some trying to communicate and having that sense of spirit. And that, remember, you are a spirit in a physical world. So you'll be able to, if you remember that, if you are remember that you are at your core a spirit, you should be able to contact other spirits. You should be able to have these understandings and illuminations coming to you a little bit more clearly over the next 2 weeks. And then having it sort of manifest in the world outside and around you, right? With the sun card. So this is big energy. This is a big opportunity. It feels like a really powerful 2 weeks leading up to this new moon on November 20th. Regardless of the retrograde stuff, I think it's going to be very important that we, again, like I said, use the retrograde for use them for what they are there for, and not dread them, but use them as a tool that can help with this entire process. I'm going to draw a third card to kind of gain maybe a little bit more insight into this. I think we're definitely on it. I feel like this is a pretty clear. I've got like, I've warmed up quite a bit and I've gotten some tingles here and there. So I know that there is definitely some information coming through. And we have the Eight of Pentacles, that sense of masterwork. We've had that card before with this deck fairly recently. And it's that sense of really knowing how to use all of these skills, right? Everything we've talked about that inner understanding being manifested out into the physical, but being done so with this skillful mindset to handle all the things at once, to be able to handle all the intricacies of the different moon phases, to handle how you want this manifestations to come through. So there's a sense of really kind of getting tuned in and tapped in over the next 2 weeks. And knowing that there will be rewards that will be seen from this. I really like just putting these together. It's like this woman here in the physical world, right? At her job or doing her manifestation work and her spell work with her candles. And it's sort of like got a magician vibe, right? Being a masterful magician, a masterful witch, a masterful creator and manifester. She's here in the center, here in the physical world, in this realm. And these cards really connect well with the blues and the greens and the sense of the high priestess to one side and this brilliant sun energy on the other. And her in the middle, her sitting between and understanding how to work these two different energies. It's really cool. So yeah, it looks to be a chance to really hone your craft over the next 2 weeks. To really understand what masterwork means and to watch it, like to really see the fruits of the labor come forward as we hit the new moon, and maybe even like, it's almost like this sense of preparation, right? And then knowing how you want to plant those seeds for the new moon. Wow, very, very potent time, very fertile time. I don't know. I feel like I don't need to draw an archetypes card now. This feels really good. I'm going to draw from the Visionary Oracle. That's the other one I had planned to draw from. So maybe only 4 cards. We'll just see what the Visionary Oracle has to say. Just as a little punctuation, it feels like the big energy has already been explained. Now, if you have questions about any of this, please leave me a comment down below. You can also reach me at alongadifferentpath@gmail.com if you have a question about something. Oh, it's on the end here. I felt it cycle over in that shuffle. Let's go. Okay, those two want to come out. Let's go with that one first. Connect to your urge. Interesting. Again, with the violets and the purples, connect to your urge, connect to that the high priestess can really help with that too, because the high priestess will understand, has that intuitive knowing. It's really hard to read the letters there. Let me hold this up. See a little bit better. There's a sense of passion with that red there. There's like a reddish hue to that violet, pink, heart energy, heart chakra, but heart would be green, right? But there's passion here. There's passion here this week. Let's look at this one. Why not? What do we got? Addictive patterns. Interesting. So be aware of those. This one came out as kind of a tertiary. So be aware of addictive patterns that might distract you from this masterwork. Because that's going to be really easy to, if the addictive patterns, they can get in the way. They can get in the way of what this energy is here. Let me see. I kind of feel a need to move this over here because it almost connects to the dark. It almost feels like a jigsaw puzzle to like the dark underneath the sun here. To see how the dark area seems to connect. I don't know. I'm just putting pieces together. Going with the flow, feeling the cards, feeling the energy come through. I think this is just a gentle reminder, this addictive patterns part, to just be aware of how they may be blocking you or holding you back from really experiencing the full energy over the next 2 weeks. So don't let these distract you from this master work and this sense of putting yourself all into what you want to manifest over the 2 weeks and what you're building with this connection to spirit, to your divinity, and to your spiritual self. Okay. It feels good. Let me know what you think. Again, let me know what you think about this reading. If I should continue to do them, if I should try to integrate them into the daily readings a bit more. Let me know if you've pulled a single card to sort of help you connect to this universal collective reading. And here we go. We are off and into the next moon phase, which will wrap up on November 20th. Okay. All right. Peace and strength, everybody. I will see you on the daily readings. I think the next one will be the weekday reading for this coming weekend. But as always, you can find me on this channel doing daily readings for you. And yeah, have a great moon phase and enjoy this energy as we build towards the new moon. Bye-bye, everybody.